Paul smiled as he walked into the shooting range without his unusual weapon being confiscated by security. Earlier that day, he had just accepted an annoying job from a trio of young humans, and now he was in the mood for blowing up some targets, using his newly assembled and highly experimental energy bazooka, a hobby contraption he had made using several pieces of alien tech. He paced behind the unsuspecting aliens, who were shooting their targets with small energy pistols. Paul was amazed that he had even escaped the notice of the range owner, Krork, who was busy instructing a green alien on the safe use of an energy pistol. Paul spotted an empty booth at the far end of the range and made his way toward it, weaving between the other shooters without drawing any attention. The heavy energy bazooka, slung across his shoulder, went completely unnoticed. As he settled into position, the weapon's bulk somehow invisible among the casual chaos of the firing range. Paul's fingers caressed the trigger like a lover's touch, the metal warm and eager beneath his grip, as his eyes locked onto the distant target with the intensity of a hungry hawk. The moment of perfect concentration shattered when Krork's shrill avian voice pierced the air.
Crazy human! Stop! Stop!
The bipedal bird came scrambling across the range floor, his black wings beating frantically as he tried to make his stubby legs carry him faster than Paul's finger could move. But it was far too late. Paul's smile widened into something almost feral as the bird's desperate cries faded into background noise, and he squeezed the trigger. Savoring the satisfying pressure, the world exploded into searing white brilliance. The weapon unleashed its stored fury through the floating crystal with zero recoil, sending a lance of pure energy that burned afterimages into every eye or equivalent organ. Aliens throughout the range cried out in alarm, clutching their various optical organs as the flash seared through protective membranes. When Paul's vision cleared, he found himself staring at a scene of beautiful devastation. Where the reinforced target dummy had stood, only the melted base remained, wisps of superheated vapor rising from the remains. But the real surprise lay beyond. A circular breach punched clean through the range's supposedly impenetrable rear barrier, revealing twisted metal and sparking electronics. From the gaping wound in the wall, thick black smoke poured like blood from an arterial wound. Krork materialized beside him in a state of complete avian hysteria, his normally pristine feathers standing at wild angles as he flapped his wings in mindless panic.
30 years! 30 years building this range! And you walking catastrophe! You've destroyed it all! My insurance premiums! My reputation! The licensing board will have my head crest!
Paul felt a surge of satisfaction, quickly dampened by the realization of what he'd done. He was lowering his smoking creation, preparing to offer some dismissive reassurance, when the facility behind the wall decided to join the festivities. The explosion that followed wasn't just heard, it was felt in the bones. A percussion wave that rattled every piece of equipment in the building and sent several smaller aliens diving for cover. The color drained from Krork's already pale plumage as understanding dawned. His head crest, normally held high in pride, began trembling uncontrollably as he clutched it with both wing hands.
My generators! Those were expensive backup systems! 20,000 credits of pure consortium engineering! Imported directly from the core worlds! Do you understand what you've done? You magnificent, terrible fool!
The weight of his mistake settled on Paul like a lead blanket. This wasn't just another of his casual miscalculations. This was a betrayal of genuine friendship. Cork had trusted him, had given him free rein of this place, and Paul had repaid that trust by accidentally committing what amounted to industrial sabotage. While his mercenary background meant he rarely panicked, and his success as a finder meant he could afford to fix almost anything, the look of genuine anguish in his friend's eyes cut deeper than any financial obligation. Paul set down his weapon and offered a formal bow, the kind reserved for serious apologies.
Cork, I swear on my reputation as a finder, I will cover every credit of damage, every moment of lost business, and any inconvenience this causes you.
The bird launched into a spectacular display of multilingual cursing that would have impressed even the roughest spacer crews Paul had served with.
May your circuits corrode! May your power cells leak acid! May every tool in your workshop develop a personal vendetta against your fingers!
But gradually, the creative profanity gave way to more practical concerns about generator specifications and insurance claims, until finally Cork deflated with a long sigh.
You're fortunate that you're the finest finder in this entire city, Paul, or I'd spend my remaining years dragging you through every court in the consortium.
Paul recognized the shift in his friend's tone. They'd weathered the storm, but to cement their restored relationship, he added,
I'll not only replace those generators with improved units, but you'll have a standing favor from the best finder in the city.
Cork's entire demeanor transformed, his crest perking up with sudden interest. A favor from Paul was worth more than the destroyed equipment.
Maybe I'm feeling generous after all. Test that absurd contraption again if you wish, provided you guarantee to repair whatever you demolish.
Paul glanced down at his creation, power cells completely drained, focusing crystal cracked, and the barrel's edge glowing cherry red from thermal stress. He shook his head with genuine disappointment.
This prototype is worthless. A weapon that destroys itself after one shot isn't exactly marketable.
Cork stared at him with the kind of disbelief reserved for the truly incomprehensible.
Humans,
He muttered, shaking his head as if physical motion could dislodge the memory of this absurd evening. Within minutes, Cork was announcing to the remaining patrons that their human friend had concluded the evening's entertainment, and they should return tomorrow after repairs were completed. The departing aliens shot Paul looks that ranged from annoyance to barely concealed aggression. And yet, no one confronted him. After all, anyone who could accidentally demolish a shooting range with a single shot was not to be trifled with. Paul, drawing on years of mercenary experience with hostile audiences, remained completely unbothered by their glares. Once they were alone, Paul shifted into business mode.
Could we discuss something serious for a moment?
Cork's expression immediately became guarded. He knew that tone.
what kind of business?
Paul described the ancient human vessel and his morning's contract with the three young men, then posed his real question.
I need to know about the ship graveyard on the northern perimeter. Is Zodar still running that salvage operation? And what are the chances of locating an old warp core suitable for human technology?
Cork's reaction was immediate and emphatic.
Zodar not only still controls that graveyard, but his hatred for you has reached legendary proportions. Your success as a finder has made him obsessively jealous.
What if we paid him a visit together? I think he might.
Absolutely not!
Cork interrupted.
Zodar severed all business relationships with me specifically because of our friendship. Paul, I'm telling you as a friend! Find your warp core elsewhere! Unless you're prepared to fight a small war! You'd need an arsenal of weapons like the one you just fired! And the willingness to use them on Zodar's entire crew!
Paul nodded thoughtfully, genuinely grateful for the concern.
My assistants will have your generators upgraded by morning, and I'll take your advice under serious consideration.
After a few more minutes of conversation, Paul departed into Limir City's foggy night, his mind already spinning plans. Krork's warning was sound, but Paul hadn't survived as a mercenary or thrived as a finder by avoiding calculated risks. He had technological advantages that could make stealth infiltration possible, and he knew that sometimes the most dangerous approach was also the most unexpected. Zodar would be watching for frontal assaults, not for someone trying to quietly salvage some old tech from a scrapyard.
Thank you for watching the 9th chapter of the Finder series. You can find the link to the next chapter in the video description. You can also like the video and subscribe to increase your chances of being notified whenever we post a new one. Hiss.